First of all, I'd like to thank Prof. Azhar for accepting our invitation. So this is not the first time, but I hope also this is not the last time also, because we would like to get your expert opinions and to share your expertise in publishing in a good respective journal. Seperti yang kita tahu, untuk semua yang hadir pada kebelakangan ini, kita banyak dikecam kan, para akademik especially on these predatory journals. So banyaklah statement di akhbar, kita jago kampung, kita publish dalam benda-benda yang we are wasting the government's money, taxpayers money and so on. So tapi having said that, people might not understand what is predatory journals about, and it's not everything. Publishing is not the only thing that we do. Tapi people dia ada misconception, dia rasa macam kita ni terlampau gairah untuk publish dalam sehingga kita tidak menjaga kualiti dan sebagainya. So pihak RMC pun sebenarnya tempias juga, kita di RMC kita pun banyak disebut kerana kita juga dikatakan membantu penyelidik-penyelidik kita untuk publish di dalam jurnal-jurnal yang dikatakan predatory journals tersebut. Tapi sukalah saya nak maklumkan bahawa niat kita di RMC ni adalah untuk membantu penyidik-penyidik untuk menamatkan geran penyidikan mereka, dan yang mana salah satu syaratnya adalah untuk publish dalam Scopus journals. So kita pun memang waktu untuk publish in any journals, I think Nasrun has the team publication unit telah buatkan due diligence process. Kita contact Scopus, kita contact publishers, dan kita make sure that the researcher also agree with the journals. Tapi kita pun tak tahu, after we publish it, then only the issue came out, delisted, ada some of the journals been delisted and so on. So hopefully 2021 onwards ni kita dapat improve lagi to ensure everyone publish in the kita kata stable journals, good journals that will not be delisted from Scopus or WS. So suka saya kongsi juga untuk kita tahun 2021 ini, sebenarnya di pihak TNC sendiri juga telah menyarankan supaya kita identify 100 authors yang mana publish in a good quality journals. Kalau kita boleh kata Q1 journal, siapa yang 100 orang yang boleh publish dalam Q1 journals, yang mana dalam tahun ni dia dah publish 3 journals misalnya, publication. So ada yang boleh publish 2 publication, ada yang boleh publish 1. So I think publication unit sekarang ni tengah identify those people in those categories, dan hopefully these people can kita kata boleh angkat nama UUM jugalah di persada penerbitan yang berkualiti. So I've told the team to get Prof. Azhar actually to share with us how to publish, to what are the areas that we should we should look into when we want to publish, starting from the abstract until the end, the references. What are the things that we should take note to ensure that our paper will be accepted by these good journals, and how to identify these journals. So kita pun some people, I think the newbies lah, we may not know which are the good journals that we can publish in, or is there any indicators to ensure that the journals that we choose are the right one. So inshallah I do I would like to thank the publication unit, for this effort, and I would like to thank all the participants. Hopefully, you can stay until the end to listen to Prof. Azah's session. So, thank you. Over to you, Azah.
Thank you so much, Prof. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let me introduce a bit lah. Even though all of us have known Professor Dr. Norazah Mohd Suki for so long already, but let me introduce a bit. Lieutenant Colonel Professor Technologies Dr. Norazah Mohd Suki is a professor of marketing and e-commerce at Othman Yop Abdullah Graduate School of Business, OYAGSB, University Utara Malaysia, come the Deputy Dean, and our beloved professor is the recipient of Malaysia's Research Star Award 2018, MRSA, FRGS, and highly commended paper in the 2015 and the 2017 Emerald Literary Network Awards for Excellence, and also winners of the IGI Global 7th Annual Awards Excellence in Research Journal. Professor Dr. Norazah also the recipient of Anugerah Tokoh Penyelidik 2015 UMS in Social Sciences, and she has published numerous journals, book chapters, books, and also conference papers detailing her research activities on top of coordinating and participating in several research projects. And her current Scopus H index is 24 with 1,571 citations by 1,405 documents. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yang Berusaha Lieutenant Colonel Professor Technologist Dr. Norazah Mohd Suki.
Yeah, it's my honor to listen to Puan Azam Arni openings and also respected Professor Dr. Norazah Abdul Manaf. I'm very glad to meet everyone here, and I wish everyone Selamat Hari Raya. And not too late for me to mention and to wish some of you Happy Mother's Day, and also to wish all of you Happy Teachers Day. Happy Teachers Day. So all of you are teacher, some of you are tutor, lecturer, associate professor, or professor, and do you contribute a lot to the industry, to the academic industry as well, or education industry. And yeah, that's the thing. So thank you to publication unit, and also thank you to the RIMC director for having me in these sessions. And I also would like to thank to the Vice Chancellor of University Utara Malaysia for having me in University Utara Malaysia. So through research and through publications, we should contribute to the university and to the nations in terms of how best our research finding can be disseminated to worldwide. And it is always important that every research you should have outcome, whereby the outcome is the publications. From research, it has a very strong relationships with publications. A strong research will lead you to produce quite a number of publications. So let me start my sharing, and I hope you can be around till the end. And at the end of this session, it is my objectives of this course where I should have provide you some understanding or some insights regarding effective writing. Before I go further, can I check you can see these slides?
Okay.
Puan Azam, you can see?
Yes, Prof, can.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Thank you to everyone once again, and let's start our journey. And I think that all of you are ready to go and to learn more about effective publication. Alhamdulillah. As for now, we have to work harder, and we have to work, and you should know what you are doing. And in terms of from research, it leads to publications. So in today's talks, this is the title given about effective writing for publication in high impact journal. What you can bring back, or the outcome from this talk, is that you will bring back some knowledge on the effective writing. The word here, effective writing, does involve the proper structure for you to prepare a journal article. Same like everyone, I think we have to go through process. Same like research as well, we have to follow process. When we talk about process, there are steps involved, and you cannot skip one process and you go to or you proceed to the next step. That is not possible. You have to go through one after another. Let me introduce to everyone. My name is Professor Lieutenant Colonel Civil Defense Professor Technologist Dr. Hajjah Norazah Mohd Suki, well known for my APA citation as Suki, and sometimes Suki and Suki. That one referring to first Suki is myself, second Suki is my sister, Associate Professor Dr. Norazah Mohd Suki, and I'm the Professor of Marketing and E-commerce. That's my area of specializations. Universal, where every aspects involve marketing, or engineering, medicine, Islamic marketing and whatnot. They all involve marketing. Therefore, the area of marketing is very universal, where you can see that my publication covers very broad aspects of marketing. Marketing, as I mentioned just now, is a universal, where we have like sports marketing, Islamic marketing, green marketing, pharmaceutical marketing, and many more about this marketing, fashion marketing and whatnot, right? And I also publish article on e-commerce. That's why you can see some of my article on mobile marketing, um, electronic wallet, electronic voting and whatnot, right? And Alhamdulillah, this year, UUM do have this institute, not this year, a couple of years already. I'm the Distinguished Fellow Institute of Sustainable Growth and Urban Development. Is good. It is very good. That's how you call it. Is good. And I'm at the same time, I'm the Deputy Dean Research, Innovation and Knowledge Transfer of OYAGSB, Osman Yop Abdullah Graduate School of Business. I would like to let everybody know that currently OYAGSB are now located at UUM Kuala Lumpur campus, University Utara Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur campus. So you can see us in UUM Kuala Lumpur, OYAGSB. And thank you to Ms. Arnie just now, my hash index now, moved to 24, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. And my citations also climbed higher, 1571 if not mistaken. And today this is the talk that everybody are waiting for. And this is the one that I have got from Corpus database. And hash index 24, citation 1571, document that cited my work 14005. And the reason why I show you this template is that I would like to let everybody know that it is always important for you. If you publish article, do cite a very correct affiliations. I'm very proud to mention that this is University Utara Malaysia. Spelled correctly, University, T-I-U-N-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-I. And please remember, in Corpus UUM, they affiliated in the area of Sintok, Malaysia. So you choose correctly the affiliation. Therefore, your name will be placed in the correct affiliations. So one thing that I would like to let you know that if you have Scopus ID, if you have Scopus publication, you must have a Scopus ID. It is like your identity card, your IC. Everybody has your own IC, right? The blue color IC for Malaysian, or you have your IC number. Same goes to Scopus. They do have a Scopus ID. So that is my Scopus ID. And for doing your ORCID ID together with your Scopus ID. And this is very important to show that since this is about effective writing, it is always important for you. When you write, definitely you are eager to receive citations. Citations will indicate about the how best the research findings fit to other researchers' research or area. So your finding is very important to them. Therefore, they will cite your work. So meaning that the work that you produce have some weightage to them. So if you can see the dark dark blue color, that's referring to citations. My citation keep on growing, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, and alhamdulillah. And but my number of publication fluctuating. That's because of later on I shall share with you that the moment that you submit article, it takes some time. It takes some time to get accepted, and you need to go to undergo several level of reviewing process. Another thing that I would like to uphold here, or to let you know about these status, is that you can see at the end there we have this most contributed topics. So that shows how well you in the respective area or topics um, in during your journey of publications, you can like have some interest or some inclinations to publish on one area or several areas. If you can see here, I have 16 documents on topics of pro-environmental behavior, green products, environmental attitude. I do have 8 documents on UTOUT, if you know this model, or I do also publish on TM, technology substance model, or mobile payment. I have 3 documents on electronic board of mouse and etc. The reason why I show this template for you is that you have in your publication, you have to have a very correct or good way uh, of selecting keywords. Keywords very, very important because as corporates, they do have some algorithm to extract this paper fit to which topics or to which area. So that's the importance of putting in the right keywords. Not only that, topic is also mandatory. It's also important, the topic that you write in your article. So be particular to write a right title, I'm talking about the right title, meaning that you don't simply write title as per your pleasure. No, definitely you have to have dependent variable on the title. I would suggest you to have a lengthy title, but not that too long. But somehow like Tally and Francis, they only limit like 8 words for title or whatnot. So you have to follow or adhere to the requirement of the journal. But the longer the title, but not that too long, you have the tendency to have quite a number of citations because people will go and search keywords, and sometimes when the keyword that they search match to what some word in your title, then your abstract will be pop up. Thereafter, you will have a tendency to have higher number of citations. So title is very important, keyword is very important. The keywords will indicate you and your article to be placed into which contributed topics in that particular year. They will do it every 5 years. So as you go along, this is my profile that has been mentioned earlier by Madam Azam Arni just now. You can check here. Alhamdulillah, our Google Scholar, I have 5,595 citations. The reason why I show this to you, as an academician, you disseminate your work, or you kind of like inform everybody about your updates by having several platforms. You can use this platform. I would suggest you to develop or to register a Google Scholar. You should have Google Scholar. You should have also Publons. You should have also Scopus. And Scopus, you can only have after you publish a Scopus article, right? Article indexed by Scopus. And as mentioned earlier, or by our director, our respected director of RIMC, the importance of publishing in a good quality journal. Good quality journal will bring you to have or to receive quite number of citations, and because of they have been in the market for long or in online for long, so they have been established their platform, databases, whatnot. Therefore, the dissemination of publications, updates is everywhere. So therefore, you can have like quite big number of citations, and do publish. Be selective in terms of the journal that you want to publish. It is good if you can go and target to Q1 journal. I'm very proud to see quite a number of UUM lecturers do publish in Q1 journal, and then etc. And be selective in the sense that as for OYAGSB or what, we are encouraged to publish in ABS journal, AJG. American Journal Guide list. So we publish in those journals. Be selective and do aim for higher impact factor journal. IF, impact factor journal. You can see impact factor. I have quite sometimes published in Journal of Cleaner Production. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. The impact factor is 7.246. You can imagine here, 7.246. I also publish in other journal in Emerald, the one that colored stacks referring to the publisher, right? Elsevier, Emerald, and many more. I also publish in other thing as well. So I did mention here my impact factor for the journals. The rationale for showing this to you is that you go and publish in good quality journal. Thereafter, you will gain the citations. If you can see here, citation is growing from 1 year to another year. You can check here my citations. In 2020 is 328 for 1 year, alhamdulillah. And so as the number go further, it's like fluctuate as well. And that depends to the journal. So if you recall, I did mention to you earlier, title is very important. Title is very important in the sense that if you can see here, do have like not that too long, as I mentioned here in the title of your, when you write a publication, write a nice title. Dependent variable must be there, as I mentioned just now. The context, as I mentioned in my title here, you can see I do have the word in Malaysia, right? This is my top five articles that I receive higher number of citations. For my first paper, it is from Journal of Cleaner Production, published in 2016. You can see again, citation, it takes time. This is 2015, 2016. Now it's 2021. You can see how long it's the gap for me to earn that 84 citations. So it takes time. Next one, I do have 81 citations and IJIKM journal. It is in 2010. So now it's 2021, 11 years. I have to wait for the 81 citations. Another one, 80 citations for this Emerald journal, IJRDM. It in 2015. So that's what you can see here. First, do have a nice clear title, and not only that, in the title, if you are kind of like confident with your work, that in your analysis that you really focus on one specific methodology, why not? You can use that word as well. If you can see here in my second article, in my second article, in my several other articles as well. Previously, I'm more into structural equation modeling using AMOS, analysis of moment structure. I am the one that have been using AMOS 5.0 long time ago, since 2001, I think. I've been using that, AMOS 5.0. Now it's AMOS, I think part number 24 or 20 something, right? So if you know that you are very well versed in that methodology, well, you can put into the title as well. You can see here my second title. I am using I use this user acceptance of the e-government services in Malaysia structural equation modeling approach. The next one, article number 4, I mentioned the structural equation modeling approach as well. So that's the thing that it is very helpful for you to get or to promise or to deliver your promise to the audience or to the reader that this is your concentration. Not only that, we know that the front sentences that's referring to your dependent variable. Okay, and the word that you choose here, the keywords that you mention in the word that you mentioned in your title is very important as well. See, something that the algorithm of Scopus can extract easily, right? Like the first one, consumer environmental concerns on green products. So that's about green. So they will put me into the pro-environmental, the one that I mentioned to you earlier, pro-environmental behavior, right? The next one is about airline service quality. The next one is about green products. The next one is about brand. So those are important words that you have to choose. So be particular about the word that you want to choose. So here, alhamdulillah, I am the top author for the area of pro-environmental behavior, green products, environmental attitudes. So this is the rationale that I mentioned to you in associations to the title of your article together with the keywords in your article. So while you're writing your publication, remember these two aspects. The title, write correctly, and not that too long, but the message should be there. Secondly, keywords. You have to write nice keyword relevant to the title first, and secondly, relevant to the context of your research. That's about keywords. Keywords not that too long. It should be like 6 keywords are the most that you can write down. 6 keywords. Write a right keywords. Don't simply plug and just put it your keyword. No, some reasons why you have to write right keywords. So if I write my article on attitudes, if I write my article on green products, if I write my article about behavior, about environment, so they will place my article under these topics: pro-environmental behavior, green products, environmental attitude, right, under T.8.874. So all the while, I have 16 publication on these topics. So that's bring me top 3 of myself. Please, I place, they place myself in the top 3 there. Mohd Suki, Norazah there, together with the other outstanding authors. So they publish a lot. So I have to double my job. I have to double my work to publish more in this area, to go and to climb to be above Linda or what. So it depends. Okay, year by year, alhamdulillah, as mentioned earlier by Puan Arni, you can listen that I've earned this, earned that, etc. Alhamdulillah. This is where I received my MRSA, alhamdulillah, as prominent researcher, alhamdulillah. And okay, let's start the sessions. Let's start the sessions. This is the outline for our today course. As I promised to you earlier, I have done my small introductions where I have said to you the importance of having a right title, and there are reasons for having the be selective in your keywords that will contribute to the citations of your of yourselves. So that's the thing. And then I shall proceed about the effective writing outcomes. Okay, then tips on the manuscripts and IMRAD. I think this IMRAD is your good friend, IMRAD. Maybe your new friend or good friend, I'm not sure. And last one, some conclusions. So let's start the journey. I hope you are ready by now. And I shall proceed on the tips on the manuscripts. Okay, if you can see here, when the word here is about, okay, today talks, if you can think about, if you can recall, the title of today talk is about effective writing. So it's all about writings. So I shall share with you about writings and the contents of the writings. First of all, you have to have this aspect. You have to sharpen your abstracts. You have to have IMRADs, and you have to also sharpen your references. You can see the word sharpen. You already have it in place. However, you have to sharp it. You know, sharpen. You have to make it thorough, and thorough. So in this regard, for effective writing, you have to follow a structure, as I mentioned to you earlier, a process where you have to have a nice title, not that too long, but dependent variable must be there. You have to have a nice abstract. You have to have a proper keywords. I did mention to you the importance of be selective in your keyword selections. And then you have to have IMRAD, IMRAD. The word here stand for introductions, methodology, results, and discussion. Do have to have a conclusions, and do include acknowledgements and references, and also some supplementary data. So this is the process. You have to go skips, you can everything, no, but you have to go through these steps. So this is the concentration of today's course, where our concentration on the effective writings. And okay, as for abstracts, let me start the journey now. We start our gear number 1 here. Abstracts. What you should have in the abstracts. I believe in my course today, it involves various level of participants. I think you will have published in Q1 journal, but not to worry, you still can learn about this, about abstracts. And to the postgraduate students, this is the one that that the director of your PhD or director of your program will always ask you to be careful in preparing your abstracts, because they want you to provide or to prepare a very strong and intact abstract. Abstract must be intact. You know, intact in the sense that abstract should contain purpose, as abstract should encompass the small or some brief description of the methodology. Abstract should have described about the major or major results of findings, and there must be a clear practical implication in the abstracts, and also you have to have some conclusions or originality from your abstracts. So all these elements should be stated in the abstracts. So by now, if you have your journal article ready, please check whether do you have all the elements that I have listed earlier. So in this regards, please check the abstract of your article. This is my article published in 2019. I have uploaded this in ResearchGate, so you can Google. In fact, that's the task for you today. I have a duit raya for you. So this is a duit raya. You can see. So here inside this duit raya, I want you to download this article from my ResearchGate. So if you got time now, quickly download this article, Examination of Peer Influence as a Moderator and Predictor in Explaining Green Purchase Behavior in a Developing Country. Do you see here? I have my dependent variable. I do have my important keyword here is about green purchase, and I mentioned about the country where I'm investigated the research at, where I choose a developing country. So in my abstracts, so I mentioned the purpose. If you can read from here, the study examines. So that's the purpose. Next one, if you have two objectives, do outline two objectives. If you have one objective, just write one, and followed by the methodology there. And you have to mention, are you going for quantitative or qualitative research? Are you using questionnaire? And you have to also mention the method for your data analysis. So in this regard, I'm using PLS RCM. So mention clearly. Not only that, the first one is purpose. Second one is methodology. The third one is about the findings. So you have to have those sentences like the results reveal that. So you have to have the word reveal. So that's supposed to be in your abstracts, and you have to mention which one was the strongest predictor. So that will be helpful. All right. And you can also explain the second important variable, third important variable, or significant variable, and etc. You know best about your findings. Every researcher, you have different findings, you have different area of investigation. I do respect your area of expertise, but this is the way that I present. And next one, after you have presented your findings, it followed by the, if you recall, practical implications. And last one is about the some conclusions, some originality from your work. So all these elements you have to have in your abstracts. So the moment that you have everything in abstracts, you are fine. You are fine. There shouldn't be any issues from the reviewer perspectives. And the keywords that I mentioned here, if you recall, I mentioned to you at the beginning the importance of keywords. Use the important keywords that people normally well known in your area, like the keyword normally derived from the title. You can see here I have my green key products in my title, where I use the word of green purchase. Consumer behavior, I have the word like behavior up there. I have peer influence, that's in my title as well. Perceived deterioration, why not? And my theory that I use here, ATUT theory. So in this regards, the keywords can derive from the title. But if you have different perspectives, I respect your thought. Like me mention this to you, whatever that I showed to you today, that's from my own perspective. You might have a better perspective or better idea than what I have experienced. I do respect your idea as well. So for publication, since we have seen this one, you can see here, submission of article takes sometimes. I submit in October. I received correction from the reviewer. I think twice or one. I'm sure. So see, from October until April, and from April, then it's accepted in April and available in April as well. So you can see from October until April, it takes some time. 6 months altogether. Maybe 3 months for reviewing, 1 month for revision, and etc. Right? So those are the things that you have to be patient in your publications. This is the structure of the format in Elsevier. Let me share with you from Emerald. This is the format in Emerald. So you got to know when you write article, is that the article meant for which publisher? Because at the beginning, when you are clear about the journal that you want to submit, you have indicated earlier which specific journal you aim for publications. You just geared your writing on towards that journal guideline. You see my word, you have to gear your writing. So today's talk is about effective writing. So you have to write and gear your writing towards that journal submission guidelines, or submission guidelines. So this is the format of Emerald, where you have to have a structured abstract. This is what we call structured abstract, where you have to have a purpose, the design methodology or approach, the findings, the practical implications, the originality, and the keyword. This is just in a matter of structure. This is a good way where you can see that you have fulfilled all the elements that I mentioned earlier, like this, the purpose, the methodology, and whatnot, right? So I would suggest you, in any of your writings, you can have this way, structured abstracts. But if the journal require you to put into this format, you just put into sentences, a paragraph form, nothing wrong. Just remove the heading here. All right. So finish with abstracts. This is another example of my article. Published in Journal of Adult Development. I would like to mention this to you. If you Google, if you go into Scopus, in Malaysia itself, only 2 articles from Malaysia. Alhamdulillah. As for the Journal of Adult Development, we have been waiting for several years to have this article published. Not only, you see the word accepted November 2020. Yeah, that's accepted. But before that, we have been working several years to handle the reviewers' demand. I call it demand or request or comments. Reviewers are, as we submit, they have a new idea. They have a new idea, but it's good. It makes our article get better and better. Same like earlier, we have the same structure in abstracts, the same content of the abstract. The abstract do have purpose, as you see here. Abstract do have methodology, do have the findings, the implication of the study, and also the conclusions. So that's abstracts. If you have this in hand, you're fine. You can submit your thesis for examinations, or you can submit your article for review as well. So this is from Journal of Adult Development, only 2 in Malaysia. All this while, since the introduction of this journal, only 2 Malaysians, only 2 articles from Malaysia published in this Journal of Adult Development. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, and alhamdulillah. So we have been working several years to get this thing read. So the title, as I mentioned to you, has to be clear. All right. So that's about abstracts. I hope by now you already know what's the element of abstract that I mentioned to you. So if you have that, you're fine. Abstract is first impressions, to the reviewer. So write effectively, write correctly of your abstracts. That's first impression. Title and abstracts is the first impressions. to the reviewer and not the reviewer, to the editor. You know, the first person that will check your article to proceed further to review or not to review is the what we call that's well, there will be a person who will do this research. So they will check, do you have this, do you have that or not, or some error, any type of error, what they will automatically pick up, and they will not sending your article for reviewing. So that's the thing. Not that easy in to go and to meet to another level, which is reviewing process. I think my recent experience recently in one of the good journal where they give the manuscript number a couple of days later, not that immediately during your submissions. You know that when you submit online, you will receive manuscript number. But in that particular journal that I mentioned to you, they will give my manuscript number a couple of days later because of there are some people who will do a checking. You fulfill this, you fulfill not or whatnot. Once you fulfill or meet the expectation of the journal or meet their aims and whatnot, right? Or the technicalities, then they will issue you the manuscript number. That's very challenging. That's my recent experience. Like last time, you receive your manuscript number on the spot. That's different now. Times change. Things getting better and better nowadays. Getting thorough but better. Okay, I finished on abstracts. Now I go for introductions. Um, when you effective writing for introduction section is that the word introduction, introduce, all right? Never ever start your first paragraph. See, this is another thing that I'd like to mention to you. First impressions from the editor in chief. The moment that your first paragraph is not nice, tendency for you to be rejected is higher. So first paragraph is very, very important. And the first word that you mentioned in your introduction is very important. Never ever start with definitions. Your first paragraph of your introduction, you definition, you define. Dream product is what? No. Or marketing is what? No. So be careful when you write introduction, the first paragraph of your sentence is the first impression on the maturity of the author or maturity of the writer. So choose right sentences and never repeat some sentences in later sections. No. So just write as what you're supposed to write. Okay. So in introduction, the word here is introduction, introduce. You have to have some background, right? You have to have adequate background, right? Adequate background, first paragraph, second paragraph, right? And do mention your objectives, right? And research objectives, if you have 2 or 3 research objectives, write it there. And do mention clearly the importance of your research. Another terms you call it significance, another terms you call it contributions. So then you have to, if you have some methodology, sorry, if you have some model or some theory, you have to defend the theory, why you choose that theory and in your research. So this to have mentioned briefly in the introduction sections. I'm not sure by now, have you downloaded my article that I mentioned to you earlier? I hope yes. This article, because throughout my presentations today, I will refer to this. I have 16 citations from this article. So I hope by now you downloaded this examination of peer influence, so you can see the way or the content, because they thought it's about effective writing, the proper way to write. Okay, introductions, I did mention to you earlier. So this is some sample of my introduction derived from that article that I asked you to download. I just snip some portion of it. So if you can see here, I have some small background where I discuss about some statistics, some problem statements, and etc. Then I also touch small or briefly about the theory that I employed in this research and why the theory is very important to this research. Remember, all the while in your writing, you are concentrating on that topic only. You don't go beyond, don't talk other than that. All right. So be focused. In writing, you have to be focused. If you're talking about green, just talk about green. Don't talk about other than that. All right. And be focused and choose right theory. You have to define why the theory is important and related to the theory. You can see this word, because it helps. So I have that word, because it helps. So that's how best you have to write or to define the method or the theory or model that you employ in your research. And then I proceed with my aims. Sometimes you have to vary. In writing, the message is one, which is you want to talk about aims or objectives. You can choose various words: aims, objectives, goals, also referring to the same meaning, right? That's why I vary my writing from one article to another article, right? So table it. What's your objectives? Either one or two. And if you see here, if you can recall, how many I have objectives here? I have two. That's why you see how I write my writing, how I write my words here. First, I said the goals of the present study. Next one, my second objectives, I said at the same times, the study investigates. So you can expect that I have two objectives in my research. So variety is your word. Don't go, sometimes you can say that the first objective is this, second objective is that, or there are two, the objective of the study are twofold. That's also possible. So some varieties in writings of you to mention your research objectives. And why the research is very important. So you just define, justify, is there any new research required or not? And then you have to provide significance of the research. If you recall, I mentioned to you earlier, significance of research, all the contribution of your research. You see that down there, my significance of research, response to the demand, right? So you can varieties your word as well. And down there, how best the research is meaningful to the reader. You can see at the end down there, the resulting knowledge assists marketers. So this is my practical contributions. So that's, I place that after my objectives. This is my practical contributions. I list several. Don't just list one. Let me give you some tips. Do mention, outline two or three. So I mentioned two, fine, or three also fine, in terms of your practical implications. So as the reader read, or as the editor-in-chief reads your article, if he feels that the article is good for the journal, therefore they will send for reviewing or reviews. See, do you know that what I have mentioned to you just now? Our editor-in-chief is the first person who will have a read to your article in the entire pages. And then if you feel that the article worth it for the journal is important to the journal, therefore they will send for reviews. Remember or not? Yeah, I think this you know very well already that one volume they can only have like 8 article or 6 article, and you want to be one of them in this world, in this mother's nature. You want to be one out of the 6 or 8 article in that journal for that volume. See, if you got published, you are good, you are a great person. Alhamdulillah. All right, alhamdulillah. At one time I do receive experience. I won best article. I think if you recall, Madam Arnie have mentioned that in IGI Global, I won that award, where throughout the volume, one whole year volume, they only pick one. Alhamdulillah. So I got that experience. So all is about important of you to have right words, right way of writing, a right way of presenting or structuring your work. All right. So this is introduction. So I hope by now you know that what's supposed to be in introduction. Let me repeat. You have to have background. You have to have the objectives. If you have model or theory, define your theory. Do conclude with the significance or implication of the research. So you can check in my article that I asked you to download just now, right? This is only example. You might have better example, or you might have better experience in publishing article than myself. So this is just my small sharing with you. Okay, I finished introduction. Now we proceed to the literature review. Okay, second part or second section in the article. The word here, literature review. Okay, some candidates do mention about the statistics award, and you mentioned about some opening of some industry like SME or what. No, that is supposed to be in introductions, not in literature review. The word here, literature. So don't talk about background. So that's supposed to be in background, right? So as for literature review, I will normally encourage you to start first with the underpinning theory. Every research that you do, you have to be guided by theory. You cannot simply, as per your pleasure, to do research and then after send for publication, and thereafter you got rejected and you're very angry to the journal editor. No, that's not the process. You got to again. We have to follow some process. So start first with underpinning theory. You have to extend the theory, not just it can be replicated, but you have to know what's the contribution, what's the newness of your model as compared to the existing model. So there must be some fresh insights in the model that you want to go or embark further. And you see the last word there, it should lay the foundation for further work. That's why quite a number of researchers out there, they will replicate your work, right? They will replicate your work. You're doing in Malaysia, they will do it in Pakistan, they will do it in other country. Alhamdulillah, this morning I received good news. One of my Q1 journal accepted, where we publish in the context of Pakistan. So they asked for my permissions to do in Pakistan. I don't mind, and we work together. Then you got published, Alhamdulillah, in Scopus Q1, Alhamdulillah. Therefore, that's how the application of the model to different contexts. And this is how I structure my literature review. Proposed hypothesis and model. See, two proposed hypothesis and model. Why I put proposed hypothesis and model as my heading? This is demand by the reviewer. Initially, I put it literature review. So when I receive reviews, one of the reviewer asked me to change the heading of my literature review section to this. So nothing wrong. Never ever object the reviewers how to say advise. You can if you have strong justification. I hope you will recall my word where I believe they are reviewers, they have their expertise in the area or in the industry, therefore they know best what's best for you. So they will outline a list of suggestions. So it is you to critically digest what they want. You can oppose to their demand, but with strong justifications. But I think very hard to answer, I believe. So I changed. Initially was literature review. They asked me to change the purpose hypothesis model. Then, as I mentioned to you, you can have to have underpinning theory, but I change. If you see this work, I put my brief model, I write in my introduction section, nothing wrong. This is just a style, but you have your own better style. So then you put it into green products. And if you talk about green products, start first with the definition of green products. This is my publications, my area of publication on green products. Then why I showed this example to you, I want you to know that you have to have definitions, and thereafter you have to have some descriptions of synthesizing the past literature, and do have as much citation as possible, but relevant citations. Don't simply plug and put the names. No, you see down there in my column number 1 at the last paragraph down there, I put it, I read more and I put it there in India, in Taiwan, in China. So you just list some countries if you want. So up to you. You have your own better way of presenting your literature review, and you have to conclude your paragraph with hypotheses. You have to have the sentences like accordingly it is postulated that. So you have to write the hypothesis. In this new normal, oh no, in this new school of thought, we hardly use the word like there is. If you see nowadays in the journal article, very rare people will write there is relationships between IB and DV, very minimal. So as for the postgraduate students, you can use this word where the IB has the positive effect on DV. No more that we write there is, but nothing wrong. That's old school of thought. I respect that school of thought as well, but nothing wrong. Okay, so see, one hypothesis, you can have like one paragraph or two paragraph. In effective writing, don't write just a short sentences for a paragraph. Never ever, right? So write more and write more. But with reasons, okay, if you have past research related to the same area, why not you cite your work as well, but not so many. See, this word I have also cited my past work, Suki, 2016. If you recall, when I mentioned to you, when I first met you this morning, my article in 2016 by Journal of Cleaner Production, I received 84 citations, right? So this is, I cited my work there. That's one of the contributor of the 84 citation. One is from this article, alhamdulillah. So I write. So nothing wrong, but not too much. But write the right or cite at relevant places, or relevant variable, or relevant findings. Okay. So that's about literature review. If you recall, I mentioned to you that you have to have underpinning theory. You have to have a proper structure. You have to develop or formulate a right hypothesis and write your hypothesis correctly. Sometimes you formulate hypothesis wrongly. See, you have to have like IV has a positive effect on DV. And write clearly, write correctly. All these hypotheses is related to your research objectives. Bear in mind, the hypothesis that you formulated is related to your research objectives. If your research objectives, you want to study about differences, mean differences, please perform ANOVA. And the way to write your hypothesis is different, right? So you should know objectives has some association with literature review, or hypothesis formulation has association with the method that you employ. Can I repeat? Your research objectives has association with your hypothesis that you want to formulate, and also the method. That's why somehow, somewhere, your article got rejected because your objectives say differently. You have formulate your hypothesis wrongly. Then you have employed a different expected methodology. Right. So the reader or the editor, they expect such research or such analysis, but you perform differently. But somehow they will write in the comment why they reject your work. Okay. All right. So I finished abstract introduction literature review. This is the third component of article. To have effective writing in methodology sections, the word here is method, right? Methodology. You have to have heading. Never, nothing wrong, nothing wrong. Some editor do accept. You just write the heading methodology, then you just present 3 paragraphs and they will accept your article as well somehow. But it would rather be good if you can have headings, right? Under methodology, you have another 3 more subsections in the methodology. The word here, method, you should have some perspective that when you write methodology, other people can replicate your work. If you say this is your sample size, this is how you, why you choose that sample size. The word here is WH questions. What, when, where, how, when. So if you have answer to all that WH questions easily, or clearly, meaning that everybody can understand, oh, you do this work. So when you want to go for Viva later on, your examiner will ask you all these WH questions that will lead you to have a minor correction, major correction, or you have to go for re-Viva. That's scary, right? So in this regards, make sure your methodology very clear. That's why I just want to give you some hint that editor, very rare, they will comment on literature review, not editor, reviewer, right? Editor-in-chiefs and reviewers, they will comment on the objectives, on the contribution of the research, and the methodology. They would love to comment on your methodology. Why? More women in your research. Why? More youngsters in your research. Why? They will have a lot of why. If you are the potential reviewers, I think by now you should be practice yourself as a reviewer. Before you submit your article, I would suggest you try to be reviewer to your own article first. You ask yourself, do you have all these questions answered or not? Why, when, what, when, how, and what not? So on the methodology, if no question raised, meaning that all answers very well, then submit for publications. So in this regards, make sure your work can be reproduced by other people through a very clear descriptions of the methodology that you applied. And if you want to quote from previous work, do have to have a proper citations. Normally, you will quote like you go for PLS, you want to define why PLS is very good, why Amos is very good than PLS. I do have published article. I mentioned that I chose SEM Amos as compared to PLS SEMs. You just justify. If they're happy, they will accept your article. But it has to be rationalized. And any modification, you should also be described as well. So method, if you recall, I mentioned to you that do have subsection, but nothing wrong. If your school of thoughts, you don't want to have subsection or heading, I don't mind as well, but I just give some suggestions. You can have like participants and procedure as your first section, or questionnaire development and instruments in the second sections of the methodology. And the third one, you're talking about the statistical technique that you employ in your research. And this is snipping from that article that I asked you to download just now. You can see here, you have to write clearly. This 3.1, the reviewer like to screw you. You know, screw? They like to screw you. They like to ask more. Why this, why that, and etc. Why you go for that sample size? Why more males than females? Right? A lot of why. So if you define, why not? And questionnaire development, remember you have to write clearly where you adapt or adopt your instruments. So if you adopt, write clearly variable one, adopt from where, variable two, adopt from where, and etc. And for statistical technique, if you recall, I mentioned to you that these techniques is also associated to your hypothesis that you formulated and also associated with your research objectives. So write clearly, if you go for PLL SEM, justify why SEM is for your research, why not other method, right? And you have to have the word like helps. You see down there? It helps the researcher. It's this or so just defining, right? That's about methodology. So I hope by now you can easily outline your work, right? About the methodology that you want to employ. Okay, I hope by now you understand the component for effective writing in the past sections. Now we proceed with data analysis. Again, this data analysis is associated with your research objectives and also your framework, your research framework. So in this regards, you have to analyze using right methodology. And if you have performed some analysis, you have to really follow the process or principle. Or if you want to run not run away. I mean, if you want to perform regression analysis, there are some process you have to go through and some prerequisite that you have to adhere. If you want to go for PLS SEM, if you want to go for AMOS SEM AMOS, right? So you have to follow some rule of thumb. Okay, so do adhere one by one. And tendency for rejection because of you didn't follow the proper structure or the proper process of analyzing data, right? Analyzing data, there are processes as well. I hope you know about that, where if you want to perform SEM AMOS, you have to have clear model fit or goodness of fit index. It has to be good. You have to have a measurement model, structural model, same one, and you have to analyze many things and then etc. as well. So this data analysis varies. If you are a qualitative person, you should know your thematic analysis, whatnot, and I think you know best about your area of research and the analytical method suitable for your research. I think you're expert in the area. You know best, are you going for qualitative research, quantitative research, or mixed methods? You know best about that, your context. And in your analysis, you have to have instruments. And I mean, analyze the instruments. You cannot simply like have it as it is. You got to somehow, somewhere, examiner expected you to perform exploratory factor analysis. So do choose the best analytical method for your research as well. Okay. Okay. The data analysis, this varies. I told you, it depends to your research, either qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. And as for the okay, I come back here. Data analysis, please don't in your analysis. You have to write symbol. Write a nice symbol. Beta value. There are symbol for beta value. There are symbol for correlation coefficient. There are symbol for loadings. There are many symbols here. So do choose right symbol. Symbol for p-value. Symbol for f-value. So choose the right symbol for data analysis when you present your data later on. And never write descriptions in data analysis. Some of you will jumble up. You will blend together some discussion with the results. If you're talking about H1, H2, you blend together with your discussion or literature. No, don't put that. Never ever have any literature in relations to the results. Let's say you say H1 is supported, then you add some names, some citations there. No, not at the moment, because you will have to write in the discussion section. The word here, this is the section number 5 in your article. First section, okay, introduction, literature review, methodology, data analysis, and discussion. This is number 5, right? Discuss. The word here, discuss. When the word discuss, never mention any symbol, any values that you want to, you write down beta value, 0. What? No. P value, what? No. This is just discussion. That's different with data analysis. Here you present your results. And in this discussion, you just discuss the results. You have to decide, are the hypothesis supported or not supported? My humble advice to you, are discuss accordingly. You see my word, discuss accordingly, meaning that if you have 9 hypotheses, discuss one after another, H1, H2, H3, in sequence, by paragraph, right? The rationale for this article, I have blend together hypothesis, hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 6, because of perform moderating effect, right? So I blend together, but that's different story. um you can have another story, another section of moderating in different discussion, also fine. But I just share, that shows the maturity of the author. When you write, the editor-in-chief know, are you a matured researcher or not? Or you are just a beginner or what? the way that you present your research and etc. See, in the discussion section, first you have to mention your objectives. The study examine. Now it's all past. It's past tense, right? I have two objectives here. Then I mentioned about my results, and I mentioned hypothesis one, supported or not supported. Then if it is support, it is corroborate or similar with past studies, just list it. Then you discuss more and more, and do have discuss more and more. Then you go to hypothesis two. Next one is my paragraph. The second paragraph, my hypothesis two. The same structure where I write hypothesis supported or rejected. Then I justify why it is supported or rejected. Then I support with the whether the research the results is similar or contrary to past studies. Then you discuss more. So the word here is discussion. Can you imagine if you have like 9 hypotheses that I mentioned earlier? You have to have like 9 paragraphs. The more hypotheses you have to have more paragraphs in the discussion and more elaborations. This discussion is the decision of the editor, either to shortlist your paper for reviewing or not, because this is the original work. What's the new things that you uphold in your research, right? So this is discussion. The word here is discuss, right? You have to discuss the findings. Don't let it be inconclusive, right? And let it be clear and focus on your results and research context. Don't go beyond than that. You didn't study things, but you mentioned that. No, go within the research context and what you have in your framework. That's supposed to be in discussions, number 5. So I hope by now you hold my sentence that this discussion is your original work, where this is very, very important. And this section is very important. Your originality clearly seen in this work, in this part, in this section as well, right? And so about discussion. Discussion it has to be not that too short. Please don't write it too short. Like you have 9 hypotheses, you blend all together. Out of the 9, 5 supported, 4 insignificant. Then you put stop. No, you have to write more. That's why the word discuss. You discuss one after another. Don't just give summarize. If you want to summarize, this is the place. The word here is conclusions. Conclusions. You have to draw conclusions based on the results that you discovered, right? If you discovered that out of 9, 5 significant, so write it there, right? And it is good if you can help the reader to give a better idea, better conclusions. Out of the 9, 5 significant, and out of the 5, what's the most strongest predictor? So that's how you write. If you recall, this conclusion I do have also in my abstract, right? So that's how it's related, one section to another section. That's another tendency for rejection. If you're writing all loose, loose from one section, disconnect with second section, disconnect with third section, abstracts, disconnect with objectives, objective disconnect with conclusions, all are interrelated. So that's what we call it research. It is one context. It is not that multi-context, right? Just one context. So it's supposed to be just zoom into that. Don't go other than that. That's your focus of research. So those are the things. And same like methodology, conclusion also, I encourage you to have section, but nothing wrong. This is just my experience. I would like to let everybody know I'm learning as well. I'm still learning. I do also experience rejections. I do also experience acceptance. I'm like ordinary person as well. I need to learn a lot from you as well. But this is just my examples. I respect your idea as well. Because some people, they have their conclusion just a paragraph, nothing wrong. It is also accepted. If you see some journal, you have just one paragraph and it is still in Q1 also, but nothing wrong. This is just my way but nothing wrong if you have your own better thought or better insights and idea. This is just my style where I have I break down my conclusions into sections, research implications, practical implications, and also future research directions or direction for future research. So write clearly how best your research is very new to the in terms of the implications to the research. So write in 6.1. You can write 2 or 3 rationale for you in terms of the discovery of your work from the research perspectives. So here you just see what I have, how I write my theoretical perspective. First, I describe the rationale for the theory that I have chosen. Here is ATUT theory. ATUT. Then I write clearly about the how best this theory or my findings can help future research, right? So I also mentioned that what are the most important variable, and I also write clearly about this research is very, very new, and I also describe clearly about the quantitative research, how best it will help the context of green purchase. See, this is how you write your research implications. Um, okay, this is sections. The section of conclusion is also something that editor would love to read, because this also platform whether they will shortlist your article or they will reject your article. If you just write a simple and unclear conclusions, so tendency for rejection is higher. So those are the things. And practical implications. The word here is practical. Don't write word like research in this context, in this 6.2. I have seen it. That's another thing, a maturity of the writer. Sometimes you eager to write, you eager to expand the section. Expand means you want to have more paragraph. You just write this, write that, without you notice that you have write about the research implications, you blend in the practical. No, that's not right, right? So the word here is practical, only for managerial. Don't touch about research. If you want to talk about research, describe about research, you have to blend it in the 6.1 research implication. Don't mix up. Practical is just the practical implications where you have to have the word like industry. You have to know your beneficiaries. You should, your stakeholders. So in this regards, this is another thing that you know that you have to refer to the journal guideline, where the journal, every journal has their own context. Maybe like if the journal called Journal of Retailing, definitely the practical is the context or unit of analysis is retailer. So check the journal that you submit. Don't simply like you have to have a clear unit of analysis for your research and the industry involved. So if you submit Journal of Retailing, you have to have the word like marketer, retailer. Like in this context, I use the word marketer. So be consistent in your writing for the unit of analysis. If marketer, write marketer. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, marketer also. Paragraph 3, marketer also. Don't jumble up with other sentences as well. So know who's who will benefit in the context of your research, right? So that's the things. And then to go for future research, recommend some future research, and yeah, that I mentioned there what future research can go about, and etc. Okay, you can say about expand sample size, do in different contexts, in different, because now I'm doing in developing. You can go for another developing country, like what other people have done. They do it in Pakistan, they do it in other country. I don't mind as well. So that's about it. Research implications, practical implications, and future research directions. So that's about research. That's how effective writing is all about. Do you think now is you have gathered complete knowledge on effective writing? I hope yes. I hope the answer is yes. I have showed to you about abstracts, literature introduction, literature review, methodology, data analysis, discussion, and conclusions, right? So I hope you can recall all the elements, all the component of each sections, and you will have a better idea by fulfilling those requirements that I shared with you. I believe you will have a inclination for towards acceptance of your article. I hope so. And this is another section that you cannot simply ignore. Okay, that you cannot simply ignore, because this is another component where the editor or the associate editor will either shortlist your paper or not, because of what? You are this very disciplined person or not. Why I say about discipline? Because every journal have their own format. If you are very disciplined, meaning that you will adhere to the referencing style. You see my word, if you are very disciplined, because sometimes you are not disciplined because you just ignore. You have your article ready, then you quickly submit. You didn't handle all the submission guideline. Please, you have to handle submission guideline critically. So in this case, referencing style is another avenue you cannot be ignored, where this is the format of this Journal of Cleaner Production. I know by now you are very well versed using Mendeley. You are very well versed using EndNote OWASP. Now all are very digitized. All of you are very digitized, so you know best about this referencing style. Very quickly, you can change from one format to another format, from Harvard to APA style to other style. So you can do it easily, I think. So this is the format by Journal of Cleaner Production, the one that I asked you to download, where they follow different way to write the citation, the referencings. See, this also you got to be disciplined. Please be disciplined. Why I say discipline, meaning that you have the author name, you have the year, you have the article title, you have the journal name, you have the volume, the issue, and the page number. That will be a complete, right? That's how you discipline you are. Okay, so handle one by one throughout. And normally, if you publish in Elsevier, they expect you to write 8,000 word and above, 8,000 and above, 8,000 word and above for Elsevier. They expect, but nothing wrong if you only have 6,000 word. It depends to the editor. If you have nice editor, you will get it. So it depends to coverage. So far, what do you find? So far, what do you find? I hope you have a better idea by now, or you already know. That's fine. I also love to learn from you. Now, on the manuscripts, you have to follow the submission guidelines. All are ready. All the article ready. The structure all are ready. You follow all the requirement that I mentioned to you. Now, you try to check the complete entire article. Either you follow submission guideline or not. Either you know the audience. The audience, the one that I mentioned to you on the section of practical implications and also in your abstracts. So write a clear audience. Who's your audience? So know clearly who's your audience, all right? And this is how you can go for the submission guideline. Original, they have their guide for authors. You see this word, guide for authors. And this is by Journal of Cleaner Production. Alhamdulillah, their impact factor is 7.246. Wow. So this is the journal aims. They mentioned down there what's their aims. The cleaner production is a concept that aims at preventing the production of waste while increasing efficiencies in the use of energy, water, resources, and human capital. So they write down there. They address theoretical and practical cleaner production. They focus on environment, sustainability issues, government or whatnot. So you should know what are the focus of the journals. And their focus here is about yeah, you just read down there, helping societies become more sustainable. That's why anything on sustainable or green or what, you can publish here in this journal. But you have to go for 4 to 6 reviews or reviewer. All right, so it's okay. You handle one after another. Remember, if you have like 6 reviewers, you have another one additional. Who's who? The one that I mentioned is your editor-in-chief. You know, editor-in-chief also provides a comment to the article. So you have to handle 7 altogether. 6 plus 1. Wow, that's a lot. If you have like 4 reviewers, meaning that you have to add another one, which is editor-in-chief. So 5 previews altogether. All right, but it's fine. The more that you handle or the more reviews that you receive, the article getting to be better and better. I do have experience where the editor or the panel of reviews asking me to add analysis. So it's okay, you perform new analysis. Thereafter, your article getting expanded and expanded, better and better. Alhamdulillah. So remember, be positive with their comments, with their suggestions. Sometimes you have a disagreement, but as I told you just now, it's very, very thorough if you got to handle their comment, right? If you want to agree to the comment, you got to do a thorough work. Okay. Remember, after all, when everything is ready, before you submit, try to read again and again. Do you have a nice title? I told you earlier, don't make it too short. Don't make it too general. Let it be IV in the, dependent variable must be there. And if you have the contact, put it there. If in Malaysia, in Pakistan or what, or in Australia or what. And remember another thing that will reject or accept your paper is about the way you present your work. Sometimes your figure and table are blurry, right? Or your table's incomplete. You forgotten about you forgotten the funnel lacquer table, or you forgotten the HTML table. Some tables you forgotten to input in. So that's one things that will contribute to the rejection as well. And remember, always, your research has to be robust, right? And solve significant problem. That's why your article is accepted for publication. That's because of you have something new that you want to share with their readers. The word NEW must be in your writing. That's why you got accepted. Why you got rejected? That's because of what? Other people have done it. Why you do the same thing? They have done it in Malaysia. You do it again in Malaysia. But that's another thing that will bring you for rejections. So the word new NEW comes from various contexts. Either you introducing new variable, either you introducing blend integrating models, or you do it in different contexts, or you extended the coverage of research, or you do some comparisons. That's why I say robust and solve a significant problem. The problem is there, and therefore you solve the problem. Therefore, you got accepted. And so the rejection because of you. The rejection is because of you are not sensitive to the journal submission guideline, or you're not sensitive to the audience of the journal. You're not sensitive to, don't say negative, you just change it to positive. You got accepted because of many reasons. You have something new that you have in your research, right? Remember what I told you earlier? You want to compete with quite a number of people out there globally in this Mother's Nature. So you want to be one out of the 6 or 8 for that volume. So how to be one? You have to produce a robust work. You have to produce something that is very new, that other people didn't do that, or the other people yet to do that, right? So that's the thing. The word here is robust. Next, you have to write concisely. I told you earlier, never have repetitions in your sentences. You have done it in abstract. Now you have done it in introduction. You repeat it again in the conclusion, or you repeat it again in the discussion section. No, editor don't like that. Editor sensitive to that. Any multiple, any similarities of sentences. You have to write concisely, you have to write clearly, succinctly, and yeah, just write and write and write, right? Okay, the more that you write, sometimes you not knowing that the message is the same. You have write it earlier, but you write in different sentences, but you put it in different way, in different section. Just so editor don't like it. So yeah, just write as what you're supposed to write. Every word that you write plays some role, and it has to be there, right? Whichever that sentences that doesn't help in explaining your research, in explaining your work, discard it, right? So write something that you're supposed to write intact, right? Write as per what you're supposed to write, and don't write more and more, but it will lead to nowhere. So that's not nice as well. Okay, what does we consider good manuscripts? It supposed to have what? You're supposed to adhere to the aims and scope of the journal. The article is accepted types of articles. You have to check the readerships. This is I said to you about the audience. You should know who is your audience of your research, and the topic is supposed to be a hot topic. Currently, if you publish in with the word like COVID-19, they will have some kind like some how to say attention to your work. That's what we say current hot topics. Earlier was blockchain. Earlier was artificial intelligence. Now hot topic is COVID-19 pandemic. And that's why more publication all associated with COVID-19. If you notice, that's what hot topics nowadays. And you have to also be ethical in your writing. Please, yeah, I think you know this already. Avoid plagiarisms. Please don't go for multiple submissions, multiple publication as well, one work, then you submit concurrently to several journals because you afraid of waiting time. No, that's what you have to bear in mind. You cannot go for multiple publication, multiple submission. That's no, right? And please acknowledge all the cite the how to say cite everything's in the article in the references list. And do you have acknowledgement? Please write correctly, like FRGS. They have some sentences that you have to follow in terms of acknowledgement. You have to, there's some sentences you have to adhere to, right? If you want to write acknowledgement. And in terms of the authors, only write or list down the author that contribute to your work, right? This is another thing that you got to bear in mind. Okay. And I told you about figures and tables. Make it nicely to read, presentable, readable, and results from your publication. Also, if you have legend, make it clear, right? And no duplication of results. You have results, then you have also figure. No, don't duplicate. That's what we call duplicate. You know that sometimes you have your table, then you draw again histogram or you draw bar chart. No, that's not relevant. Either one, don't go for duplication of results. Right? Okay. Do you have answer to this now? Effective writing. If you're ready, please check whether your findings advance understanding or not. See the word advance. Every work, I do believe, and I strongly believe that every research, they have to have newness. They have to have new discovery of knowledge. See the word new discovery of knowledge, new advancements of insights or knowledge or understanding, right? And the work that you're doing now is interest to the general audience. I have mentioned to you this many times about general audience. Be selective in your journal. If your audience is retailer, submit to journal of retailing. If your audience is marketer, it's very broad. You can go for any marketing journal. I'm into marketing, so I have my example all about marketing, right? Check your audience. Who's your audience? If your audience is doctors, or medical not? So go and submit to the right journal. I do have work together with several doctors in some hospitals or what, so we publish together. So you should know then who's your audience, then publish in the right journal, right? Journal of Hospitality, something or what. So look for the general audience, look for is there the work is of interest to them or not. Okay, check about this structure. I have mentioned this to you earlier. You got to structure your manuscript properly, and you have to ensure that your conclusion is justified by the results. You know, the results say 5 significant, so your conclusion have to be in line or aligned to that, not that other than that, right? And your references is supposed to be international or accessible enough. See the word international, so references is another aspect where you have to refer or cite right journal okay, let me give you some. So please, in your references, please cite as much as possible the if you want to be get a subtext right in the scopus article publications. Let me show you here. You see all this blue color text, meaning that if you click this blue color text, you can click and it will lead you to the article. All right. So go and cite right and establish scholar. Go and cite and write the good journal. Right. Possibly Scopus Index Journal article. Okay, so that's very important. It's related to this. I'm talking about you about references. All right. So yeah, references. This is it has to be international and also accessible enough. So some reason, right? And again, formatting table and figure are very important here. And finally, grammatical has to be good. That's why the word effective writing. You have done everything, you have spent so much time to get the article ready and complete. Thereafter, final one is you got to check whether whatever that you write is grammatical order or not, yeah, good or not. So check your spelling, check grammatical. So that's why I put in the last. So if all is tick, see I have my check mark there. Check. I mean, tick, meaning that you are ready to submit, right? And you are ready to receive comments from the um, from the reviewers, all right? I think effective writing will lead you to for having publication, right? So definitely research is about your platform to share research findings, platform for you to also enhance the university recognition and reputations, right? And the platform for you to enhance your prestige, right? So, and also to advance knowledge, right? So this is some rationale why you should write, why you should publish, right? And if you refer to my hash index 24, if you refer to my Scopus citation 171, as for today, alhamdulillah, let's contribute about all these elements. You share your knowledge, you share, you know what my mom said, share knowledge, you will receive pahala. Alhamdulillah, right? So that's my mom thought. I uphold that as well. So the more that you share with people, is through you can share via your publication as well. When people download your article, when people cite your work, meaning that the discovery is worth it, is significant to the reader, right? After all, when people cite your name at the end, together with your name is your affiliation. So you will bring some recognition of your university and reputation of your university. That's one of your contribution. Without you notice, your presence is also felt, right? But through citations, right? and it also enhance your outer prestige as well. Alhamdulillah, I keep on receiving this and that. As for now, I have, if you see my Scopus platform just now, I have worked together with 75 people, 75. So let's publish together. It will become more than 100 if I publish with you. All right. And you can publish and in many platforms, and you know that Scopus, they have many are journals under the index by Scopus. You can see very long, so much, 75 million items. This was previous years, maybe now more than that. 16 million profile. If you have Scopus ID, you are one of the 16 million profile. Congratulations. Right, congratulations. If you have Scopus ID, you are one of the 16 million profile. Alhamdulillah, right? Your affiliation is also there. Alhamdulillah, right? And Scopus bring a lot of benefits to the scholar, right? You can earn all these, right? So through by publishing the Scopus index articles, that will boost your H index citations, and you know who's to collaborate with. Now you know me, Prof Suki. My citation name is Prof Suki. You can work with me as well. I'm also mentoring many people. I've worked with 75 scholars. If you see my Scopus database just now, and you can know who's who to collaborate with, you know which journal to publish. You know, you can study about the journal using the Scopus database. That's why I know that in Malaysia, for the Journal of Adult Development, only 2 articles from Malaysia. Only 2 articles from Malaysia. Wow. So Alhamdulillah. So you know that which journals to submit. So you can use this database. Scopus database also you can do bibliometric. Scopus database you can do find journal that I mentioned to you just now. You can track impact of your of the research. You can see who have higher citation. Then you can cite their work as well. You can see the research trend. Now, as I said to you, you have COVID-19 in your topic or in your content. It will have some weightage there as well. You know what's already in the global world. So like I said to you just now, you know that in the topics of pro-environmental, green, which is green baby, whatnot, I publish more on that. So you see what already in the market, how you can contribute more. Please be positive in whatever that you do. You have to think about how best you can increase, how best you can enrich their industry, enrich their academia. So you can increase more and more publication in that area, or you can publish more with other people. You can collaborate more with other people, right? And you have to you can differentiate ideas, topic, and whatnot, right? So those are the things. And please, now, as what our director of RMC mentioned, you got 3 tips. So be careful, think first, check, and submit. Confirm the journals the journal's credentials, and decides, do you think that your article suitable to that journal? And check about the audience I said to you earlier, and the impact. Will it give impact to you or not? So please, be careful. You have to submit to trusted journal. See this word, trusted journal, reputable or trustworthy journals. Think first, check and submit. Think, then you check, and then once you're happy, you submit, right? Be careful. As I said to you, that article deserve for a better journal. Every article deserve for a better journal. Remember, you have one article, you want to choose what the best platform for your, or the best journal for your article. So be selective. And this will indicate your publication success. Look at the impact factor of the journal. By now, I hope you will have rationalized about you. What's the highest impact factor journal that you have published? Please check. Please rationalize about you. About impact factor that you have published. Rationalize about what's your current citations now. Please rationalize what's your current H index. Please rationalize how many you have published in top tier journal, how many articles you publish in top tier journal, right? So all this will reflect your publication success of individual. Effective writing will leads you to enjoy all these 4. Effective writings will lead you to enjoy or experience the four that I have listed in front of you. Impact factor, citations, Health Index, and top tier journal. A good journal, a good writing or effective writing, if you're selective, you can go for higher impact factor journal. But not to worry, if the higher impact factor journal, if they reject your work, they will definitely give comment. Incorporate that comment in the new version of your manuscript, submit to somewhere, right? Submit to somewhere. You know, impact factor journal, there are a lot out there. You just got to benchmark. If A doesn't work, go for journal B. If journal B doesn't work, go to journal C. Never demotivated and go further and further until you secure publication. It takes time. It takes time, 1 year, 2 years, but be patient. And as I said, your article words and yeah, is meant for specific journal, right? This is my activities when I was in Kedah. We work together with the frontliner. Yeah, as a Angkatan Pertahanan Awam, civil defense, right? So please, yeah, that's all. That's all. Now is I have like 10 minutes for question and answer. Right. By now, let me conclude what you have learned from me. It's all about effective writing, and effective writing will lead you to go and submit to a high impact journal, right? To go and venture into high impact journal, right? So you have learned from me about the tips on the manuscripts. And I have mentioned to you several times about what makes your article got accepted, what makes your article got rejected as well. All right. And I think that's all. And let's open the sessions for question and answer.
Thank you so much, Prof. Now we are open to the question and answer session. Okay, Prof, we have one question in the chat box regarding to abstract. Is it necessary include statement of problem in abstract? Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. That's very, very important. That's very important. Problem statements, that's you will mention in the background, introduction in the background, maybe not at the beginning, maybe second paragraph or third paragraph, right? That's problem statement. That's very true. Good questions. Any more? Let me see. Any more? No questions. Okay. Okay, Amos. Oh, you perform Amos. Who's doing this? Let me go here. Okay, here. If you see here from Dr. Abdul Hamid Bustami Noor, they have done analysis using AMOS. Both results didn't fulfill one of the expected criteria of AMOS index. Okay, yeah. You know that AMOS is very challenging. That's why I would love to go for AMOS. If you okay, since you are already a doctor, because if you are postgraduate students, maybe I can give you alternatives to go for PLS exams. But since you're already doctor, I think you venture into AMOS. Why not? I would suggest you to go and look back at your measurement instruments or measurement items. The rule of thumb here, it has to be more than 0.70 loadings. So in this case, 0.70 and above should be retained. That's one way to handle the model fitting. Another way, you can go and check the modification indices result. MI, you know MI? Then MI will give some recommendations for you to correlate one after another. So I've given you two tips. You can handle the loadings first. Secondly, you can go and handle the MI, modification indices results. Other than that, you can drop. If you have various items or several items, You can drop lower loading, like say something like borderline, you can drop that, but all related to your literature. If literature say that's very important, then you should stay the item. If not, there are various ways. So there are various ways to handle the model fitting. It's always important. You must fulfill the basic requirement of the model fitness, 0.9 and above, 3.0 and below for that one, RM for RAMSI, RMSE below 0.80. So many other things. So that's why I'm always very thorough. I'm also much thorough than PLS SEMs. So that's my question, my answer to you. Various way, I just gave you three. There are a lot more idea solutions to that problem. You try one after another. If it doesn't work, you can communicate with me as well. All right. Okay. Any more that you want to ask me? Recording from RIMC, they will do that. Okay. Any more questions? Let me see the chat. Okay. Abstracts. Okay. Done. All right. Okay, I think I've answered those three questions. Do you want to see how I respond to reviewers' comment? Do you want to see what are the reviewers' concern? Okay, let me share this with you if you don't mind. While waiting, you can think about other questions for me. I would love to collaborate and work with everyone. We can work together. We can publish together as well. And you can enjoy citations together as well. Allow me to share this if you don't mind. This is just my experience. You will have a better experience than myself. Okay, you can see. Can I check Miss Azam? You can
Yes,
see?
Prof, we can see it clearly, but
Okay.
if you may
If
zoom it
you are
a little bit.
represent, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
You represent the audience.
Yeah, sure.
Always mention your name. Okay, I hope I can see.
That's okay.
Okay, this is how, Alhamdulillah, this is how I respond to my reviewers. Based on their reviews. Okay, I'll show you the good one first. Later I'll show you a bad one. Okay, this is just my experience. You will have better experience than me. Alhamdulillah. See, this is reviewer. I have two reviewers. This is just Scopus Q1 journal. That's how they review my work. Alhamdulillah. I receive not that so thorough reviewers, and I receive only two reviews. Sometimes I receive 6, sometimes I receive 4. So it depends to the reviewer. All right. Not a review. It depends to the editor in chief. So now, okay, if you receive email from the editor in chiefs. Editor in chiefs will line up all the comments and from the reviewers. If you have 6 reviewers, they will list all 6 down there. So lengthy, a couple of pages as well. And if you have only 2, a couple of pages as well. And plus 1 is the editor in chief's comment. So if I have 2 reviewers, I will have 3 comments. 3, not 6, 3 comments. So meaning that reviewer 1, reviewer 2 plus editor in chief. So in this regards, alhamdulillah, my reviewers, okay, they comment that the paper is absolutely highly interesting, well written. Alhamdulillah. So they have mentioned about regarding consumer behavior and CSR. So that's my publication. I told you mine is about marketing and whatnot. But they have additional questions. So this is some of the additional questions. The first one, this is standard. This is a standard additional question, not a standard. I put it color, don't worry, not that they put color. I am the one who put color. Originality, they asked about, does it adds to the subjects or area body of knowledge? So the black color at the end there, yes, this study adds new theoretical, practical. This is from the reviewer, the reviewer. The first column is the reviewer comments. The second column is my response. So my response, I really appreciate the comments, alhamdulillah. So they say, yes, the study is good. Next one, okay, the first one, originality. Second one, they asked about the analytical rigor. Do you see, no? They didn't ask about literature review. I told you already. Analytical rigor, analytical, meaning that your data analysis. They asked about, does the article demonstrate soundness in the way it has researched and or argued? The reviewer respond or comment, no doubt regarding data analysis used and the general result presented. Alhamdulillah. So I say really appreciate. Third one, they comment about the clarity and readership. They ask about, is attention paid to clarity of expression and readability? The point to note, sentence structure, jargon, acronym. I told you about the grammatical. You remember just now? So the response of the reviewer, they put it very clear and well written. Alhamdulillah. So I respond, really appreciate. Fourth one, they ask about research applications. If you remember, I told you about practical implications just now. Does the article suggest areas for research or practical implications or implications for practitioners clearly drawn out? The response of the reviewer, yes. In the future, this paper could be first step for further analysis. Alhamdulillah. So I say yes. I say yes. I respond, really appreciate, not say yes. Fifth one, they ask about internationality. If you recall, I told you just now, internationalizations. Will the article be of interest to an international audience? The answer of the reviewer regarding the questionnaire used distributed to 500 participants in Lahore, Pakistan, this paper could be of interest at international audience. Alhamdulillah. All right. So I respond, not yes, I respond, really appreciate. Alhamdulillah. Right. So this is reviewer too. Very kind. Alhamdulillah. God bless him. But my reviewer one, do you see my reviewer one? They give comment. So I know some of you asked about that thorough comment. I'll answer that later. This is my reviewer one. So this is how I respond to reviewer comment. You have to give the manuscript number. You have to give the manuscript title. I just make it because I don't want you to know that. Okay, reviewer number one. But I do have editor-in-chief's comment, but I didn't put it here. I respond to the editor-in-chief in separate sheets. All right. So this is a reviewer one comment. Let me share with you. They said about the okay, they give the rationale. The paper presents empirical study, what, and the this is the question that asking by Doctor just now, Doctor what, Nurul something. I'm using SCM Amos. Another term is CBSAM, covariant based structure regression modeling, or SCM Amos. So I'm using SCM Amos for this work. And they said, see, your methodology also will bring your article to be shortlisted or not, right? And the results reveal that this one what they that you can read down here so long. However, they have major concern. So that's their major concern. Literature review hypothesis development should be elaborated. That's my bad. I didn't elaborate more. He believed that some main literature should be included. Then see, they give suggestions. Okay, later I read that for you. Okay, how I answer, I appreciate the comment. I say I improve my literature review. I elaborate on my hypothesis. I add on the literature based on what they have suggested. So I didn't object their idea. I will support their idea. I value the reviewer's idea. So here, what's their comment? Abstracts. They said these sentences should be added or this introduction should be justified. You just read down there. The author Suki, because I have 2016 several publication on green. They asked me to split, not that put A, B. They asked me to split. I should explain table 2, table 5. I should do this, I should do that. A lot. They will give a lot of work. So you have to be strong enough to answer each of the element in the conclusion about international standard. Then they believe what and what. They give comments. So how I respond to each of the point, each of the bullet. So I respond one after another, right? I explain one after another. I said that change heading table 5. I refer table 3 when discussing reliability analysis. I do that, I do this. I just be frank with you. This is just how I answer. Maybe not up to your expectation, but as I said, this is just my experience. You will have a better experience than myself. And they said some references are incomplete. Oh my God. So I listen, I download, not simply put it, I have to go and look for full paper. I would like to let you know that if they ask you to add some references, please download, look for the full text, read properly, page 1 until last page, and what's the different that article, what you have missing in your article. So read one by one. I also feel shocked. Do you want to know why I feel shocked? They also cited my work. I miss this work. This is my own work. So I add on. So they suggested to add on 3 more. 1, 2, 3, right? 3 more references in my article. So I referred and I added, right? I downloaded and I added. Alhamdulillah. They also listed me in one. Oh, I feel surprised. Alhamdulillah. And I'm thankful to him as well. His further comment as noted down here. So originality, the study authored studies this and what, right? This is the one that I said to you. We work together in the context of Pakistan. They use some of my work, but in different contexts. But we do explain the work as well. And yeah, analytical rigor looks sound. Editing require, definitely. Proofreading is required, but not to worry. They can be handled. They asked about future research, right? Should depend on study result. I told you about this already. The implication should be on the context. Maybe my bad, I didn't put there. So then they said about this context. So the five element. Okay, originality, analytical rigor, clarity, readability, research application, and internationality. All right, see, this is only my example. Right, alhamdulillah. Okay, let me answer the questions in the box there. So what do you think? Do you feel happy? Let me see. Okay, let me stop sharing. Alhamdulillah, this is just my experience. You will have a better experience in your publication arena, publication journey as well. Okay, let's see what's the comment there.
If I may add, yeah.
Right.
If I
Sure,
may
Prof.
add, yeah, I think that's the difference between good journals. Sometimes they, you can see if we send to some not so good journals. Sometimes you only have one paragraph of comment. That's it, and your paper is being accepted. That's how one indicator that we can differentiate whether we have a good reviewer or not. A lot of comments means that they really read our paper.
Yeah. A good journal, they would read paper A until Z. From page 1, word number 1 until the last word, until your last references. So that's the difference. But yeah, you got to be strong, be patient with their comment. Yeah, your face will turn to red color, but that's
No, heartbroken.
journey. Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. They are the master in the area, so we are just a researcher. I still have to learn a lot. That's why I listen and I pay attention to each of the comments. Another question they asked, the reviewers gave, thank you so much, Prof. Dr. Arpa. Reviewers gave constructive comment, but the paper is rejected. This is the one that I mentioned earlier, where not to worry. Impact factor journal, there are many, and good journal, there are many. Just a matter of if A rejected, incorporate the comment of the journal A into journal B, not journal B, manuscript, the revised manuscripts, and send the revised manuscript to another journal, right? I'm not sure whether you want to follow this experience or not, or you have a better idea where if, like, say, the impact factor of the journal A that rejected is 7, then you revise the article based on the comment, then you send to another journal, the impact factor slightly lower. Then you will see tendency for acceptance is very higher, very high. I'm not sure whether you share similar thought or not, but you may try. But after all, no right or wrong. Everything that I shared with you today is subjective, meaning that some editor perceive differently, another editor perceive differently. Some reviewer have different thoughts, another reviewer has similar thoughts. Everything is universal, everything is subjective. So beyond all by luck, I believe.
Have
Right.
you experienced rejection, or
Yes.
did you respond to the reviewers' comments like as Dr. Arpa
Yes, no.
asked?
No. If it is rejected, let it be. Okay, be careful. Elsevier, now their strategy, if it is rejected, they will give you alternatives journal. where you have to decide whether you want to continue publish in the suggested journal or not. I noticed when they suggest that you have to pay first, sometimes not without payment, but sometimes to the newly introduced journal by the Elsevier, where their impact factor will grow slightly later, not now. So you decide. So in this case, I my own experience, but you will have a better experience than myself. I didn't respond to the rejection. In back to the, like say they email me, I didn't respond because they know already. Or rejected. If you respond, as I said just now, if you want to be defensive, yes, but you have to have thorough rationale behind. If not, I will take the comment. What I normally do, I will incorporate all the lengthy list of comment in that in that rejection results in my revised manuscripts. So I will modify and enhance and strengthen my revised manuscript, incorporating the earlier comment by that rejected journal. Then I improve. I feel that, oh, it's getting better. Alhamdulillah, they got that idea. They have some light for my article. I mean, some thoughts, so I revised and I sent to another journal. Alhamdulillah, it got accepted. Alhamdulillah. So keep on trying, keep on trying. As I said, a platform is varies. It's a lot as well. A rejected, go to journal B. B rejected, go to journal C. Keep on trying, improving the article. That's reason why they reject. And of course, when they reject, they will give explanation and decision and comment. Then you incorporate the comment. So shouldn't be you go for rejection in the upcoming submission, inshallah. Right? So keep on trying. Right, keep on trying. Okay, this is
What
that.
if what if the issue or the comment is on the novelty?
Yeah, I see down there. Thank you,
Yeah.
Anis, for your questions about non-novelty. I told you, right? You as a researcher, you should felt that what your discovery is new. What is the discovery of your work is important or significant to the field. But if the reviewer says that no novelty, I believe the decision they made is rejections. So coming back to my earlier suggestions, incorporate the comment. I don't think so they will give like a very blanket decision, no novelty and reject. No, I don't think so. They will describe. They will have to rationalize or justify why they reject. I believe so. So then you will see, oh, I left that form or that context of novelty. So you add on and you improve. Right. So I don't think so. You have no novelty. There must be, because that's why you do research. The word here is research, right? And how you respond positively and depends on the research that we are doing. One example I have shown to you just now in my response to the reviewer's comment. But as I said to you, if you want to how to say, if you want to answer to the rejections or you want to defend yourself, that's very thorough work, I think. Don't quarrel, I think. Just go for be positive, go for next platform, be better and better. Another questions, I hope I answer all those questions, inshallah. Question from Muhammad Nur Salam, currently working PhD, then possible to apply for more than one theory. Oh yeah, this is what we call integrated theory. You may integrate two theories. That would be loved by the editor, where you expand. You can integrate two theory, you expand, and different theoretical and conceptual. Sometimes people call it theoretical model, sometimes people call it conceptual model. So it leads to the similar one. And by now, I believe framework is your original work. I mean that your own discovery. So the model or framework should be original. So no replications like TEM has its own theory or model, then you copy exactly, you put it into you, but you study different content, that's fine. But how I say that here, if you want to apply to theory, possible, and it is welcome as well. That's what we call integrated two theories. So that's the one. Any more? Okay, all right. I think that's all. Are any more questions you want to ask me? I think I have shared with you. I think I'm not sure whether you have downloaded my article or not. I hope yes.
But it's not full.
Yeah.
It didn't go until the findings. Yeah. Yeah.
I know because of that's why I said this is my raya. Where my duit raya? Right here. This is my duit raya. Not my duit raya. Your duit raya from me. You know that if you Google, if the university subscribe to the Savior, you can get full time access because you know we are bound by copyright. We cannot expose 100%. So I'm not sure later the ResearchGate will remove that paper or not. I put it yesterday night. So if they remove, then you cannot see it anymore. Because yeah, Elsevier or all established publisher, they have copyright. We cannot fully put everything freely. That's why we have the word open access. Open access, all are free. Okay, so you may download full text later on, or you can email me for full text. What?
So is that means my duit raya?
Yeah, that's duit raya. That's itu balik. That's duit raya.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I want to let you know we are all author. The moment your article got published, you have to bind with the copyright by the publisher. You cannot fully expose 100% full text anywhere, everywhere. It can be like page 1, page 2, but there I put it how many pages? More than Kuduit Raya, more than what inside here. How much I read? Okay, all right.
8
So
pages.
yeah, some small sharing. Alhamdulillah. All right. Any more that I should share? That's all. Okay.
Boleh tanya juga online in person, tak tulis pun tak apa. Just switch, yeah,
sure.
unmute and ask. Yes, please.
Yeah, you asked about my email address. This is my email address. My UEM one very long. Norazah.muhammad.suki@uem.edu.my. This is my Yahoo email. Oh, tak boleh participate. Oh, okay. I can give inside. I have. Okay. Any more?
Tak ada restriction tadi.
Any more? No. Okay. I think I have no questions. That's for me. I hope these small sharings from me that I need to learn a lot also. Then be meaningful to everyone, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much, Prof. And it's a fruitful session just now. And can I ask everyone to switch on the video so that we can capture some Wayback's moment, please?
Let's go to photo booth.
Yes.
Thank you for joining, everyone. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. We have 182 till the end.
Yeah. It was 200, what something?
Yes. Just now
Alhamdulillah.
like
Close to
200 something.
230 at one time.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Hi, everyone.
Wow, we can see very new faces, young faces.
Yes.
Not too young.
Thank you,
Please
Prof.
keep on smiling.
They're my sister.
Azam ambil gambar
Yeah, sedang, Prof.
Okay. Okay.
As we have so many participants that I have to go slide by slide, so please bear with
Yes.
me.
Banyak kali ambil comel-comel sikit.
Please wait. Right. All right, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you especially for Prof. Azam for being with us today, and also for Prof. Aziz for staying with us to the end, and also for all the participants, thank you so much. And we will be having another seminar on this 1st June, and hope to see you all again. Thank you so much.
Can you share the title? Can you
Oh
share the
yes, the
title on
title
the
is the It's actually the workshop for the, I'm sorry, I'm not having it here, for the research book writing. So it's about research book writing, and and the talk is will be held by Professor Dr. Muhammad Azizuddin Muhammad Sani.
So if
So
it's
this,
to convert your research to
yes,
research book, then it'll
yes,
be a good session. Yeah.
yeah, truly. All right. So thank you so much, and I'll be the QR code for attendance will be displayed, and we will share the recording session. Can we share the recording session, Prof. Azhar?
Yes, no
Is
problem.
that okay?
Knowledge
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
shared.
so much. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Selamat Hari Raya. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thanks, Arzu. Thanks, Prof. Azia.
Thank you. Thank you, Norazah. So